I'm sure that most of my subscribers hate me because of how little I upload and how mediocre my content can be. But, you know, it's not important right now. This is part 2 of What If Kakashi Was a Ghoul. Well, that's just what I call it, but it's more of What If Kakashi Was in Tokyo Ghoul, but it's not important. Anyhow, I'm just gonna get right into it. I don't own any music used in this video, so YouTube, please don't destroy me for using this music. Anyhow, let us begin. Chapter 2, Acquisition. Kakashi strolled up the side of a hotel. A minor genjutsu made it so that any onlooker would only see a slight shimmer, like a heat haze. There was no way he was going to sleep outside for the night. Not in such an unknown environment, with cameras all around, especially since he had just fought a goddess. He deserved to spend the night in luxury. When he finally reached the third to top floor, Kakashi walked over to an unoccupied room and used a quick wind jutsu to cut away at the glass to form a small hole just wide enough for him to squeeze through. Fortunately, there didn't appear to be any security measures, but then again, this was a hotel, not an office building of a mob boss in Chicago. The circular piece of glass held securely by a shadow clone outside of the building. Kakashi squeezed through the hole and landed lightly inside. Then, having the Kage Bunshin hold the glass in place, Kakashi used a fire jutsu to melt the edges of the glass. The glass cooled down to reveal a repaired, albeit slightly deformed window. Kakashi nodded. Good enough. The Kage Bunshin dispelled, and Kakashi turned to inspect the inside of the hotel room. It was spacious, it was luxurious, and there was about 26 different openings that someone could exploit to assassinate the person inside. Kakashi sighed. He wanted to sleep. He really did. He had fought. He had been tossed into a new world, and for the coup de grace, he wasn't even human anymore. He was a ghoul, a veritable monster. Although he supposed he had been a monster long before he was turned into a ghoul. However, decades of instinct and paranoia took over, and Kakashi spent the next hour making the room safe. Genjutsu over the door, check. Genjutsu over the window, check. Security seals inscribed on every surface Kakashi could get to, check. Shadow clones were wonderful things. Blessed deny dame. With everything done, Kakashi brushed his teeth, took a shower, and got back into the bath because, hey, he deserved it, and then finally collapsed onto the soft king-sized bed. This hotel was really nice. He should get started on modifying the Horizon to allow him to return to his own dimension. Tomorrow, for now, he needed to sleep. Scene change. Kakashi is back? Those 3 words sent the entire CCG center into disarray. Pencils were flying up, cups were dropped, coffee was spit out. Where? Is he in a dark alleyway? Where our cameras were able to find his hideout? An analyst rapidly typed on his keyboard, taking control of the television mounted on the wall. Several footages popped up. They were all of Kakashi walking down the street, hands in his pockets, looking as if he gave no damn in the world. Those who had enough self-control to not spit out their coffee instantly now spit them out. Is he stupid? Dumbass. He took out all of us yesterday without a scratch. He's not stupid. He's arrogant. What the hell are we supposed to do? Main HQ didn't think Kakashi would be active for another week at least. All of the good investigators aren't here yet. We're going to get slaughtered like yesterday if we engage in battle. Do we call for backup? Should we send out a rapid response team? That's the same as sending them to their deaths. A low, somewhat insane chuckle ran throughout the room. All eyes turned to the offender. Then they all immediately relaxed. Oh, right. He's here. I almost forgot about that. First class ghoul investigator, Kureo, Mato, and his partner, assistant, Kotaro Amon, calmly walked forward, clinically scanning the feed shown above. Well now, Alman-kun, isn't this interesting? Typically we have to go out to find ghouls, but now it appears they're looking for us. A fire blazed in the young investigator's eyes. If he's looking for a fight, we'll give him one, and he won't be the one walking out alive. Uh, Patience. Mato wagged a finger at Alman. What does it tell you that he's walking around in broad daylight, looking as if he hasn't got a single care in the world? Amon hesitated, rubbing his chin thoroughly. There are two possibilities here. One, he's brain damaged. Two, he's so powerful he doesn't need to worry about us coming after him. One moment.
It's the hottest trend in the world right now.
Anyhow. Mato chuckled once again. It was an eerie sound. Two CCG employees had once surprisedly recorded Mato's chuckle before presenting it to several young children, asking if they thought it was a human or a ghoul's chuckle. All of them had answered ghoul. Mato had sulked for a solid week afterwards. Only two possibilities. Try again. Alman looked up surprised. What do you mean? Oh, as always, you see, but you do not observe. That's Sherlock you're stealing from. We're both detectives. The only difference between us is that I just happen to kill my suspects. Mato clapped his gloved hands together. Now then, all you seem to think he's stupid or he's strong, but neither are correct. Amon frowned. Then which is it? A bastardized combination of both. Mato shook his head. No, Kakashi is strong. There's no denying it. From what we've seen so far, I wouldn't hesitate to place him at an A ranked, perhaps an even S rank. No, the thing you're all missing here is that he's smart. Smart. Amon turned to face the television, where they could see the live feeds of Kakashi asking a petrified young man a question. Amon turned back to Mato, an incredulous look on his face. He's walking around without the skies in broad daylight. Amon, observe, will you? The sudden shout made Amon jump a little. Don't look at his surface actions. Look underneath. Look at his eyes. Amon's frown deepened. His eyes. He turned to look at the television, and most importantly, he observed. Kakashi's eyes weren't still. Far from it, they were constantly revolving around, fast little twitches that if a person wasn't looking for it, they wouldn't see it. But now that Amon concentrated, he could definitely see how Kakashi was intensely analyzing the surroundings. Precisely, Mato spread out his arms. He acts like a fool, but he's not unaware, far from it. On the surface, it looks as if he doesn't care about anything, but underneath, it's obvious that he's looking for any signs of danger and trouble. No, not just looking for, he's anticipating. He's welcoming danger. Which means, Amon breathed in horror. He's setting a trap, Mato grimly finished. A trap for us. He's the bait and we're the prey. We don't know, Amon whispered. Oh, no, sorry. Amon slammed his fist into his palm. That doesn't matter. Even if it's a trap, we can still defeat. You fool! Didn't you hear what I just said? Mato pointed at Kakashi. He's the bait. He pointed at himself. We're the prey. And Mato leered at Amon. So who's the predator? We don't know, Amon whispered, with dawning fear before whirling back to face the screen. Kakashi was still ambling along. He looked bored, but Amon now knew that he was anything but. A ghoul organization, perhaps Aogiri tree. Sorry if I said that wrong. I've never really been able to pronounce it. Or maybe Kakashi is just working with a small group of highly elite, dangerous ghouls. Whatever the case, if the CCG goes in now, like they did yesterday, they will surely die. Right. Yesterday was just to make us mad, make us hungry for revenge. Today he's trying to exploit our anger to lure us into a trap, hoping that we're too blinded by our madness to see clearly. Amon glared at Kakashi. I don't like him. Mato turned around. God damn, that's hard to say. Serenely walking away. He's a ghoul. Of course you don't like him. Wait, where are you going? Amon asked, taking his eyes off the television. Mato looked back at him, a crazed smile on his face. We're walking into his trap, of course. Amon blinked. Didn't you just say that if we went in now, we would surely die? Mato chuckled. I said that if the CCG went in like they did yesterday, they would surely die. Only difference is, we weren't there yesterday. A group of highly elite dangerous ghouls should be no problem for us, right? Amon smiled, flames of determination roaring to life in his heart. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Silence greeted his declaration. Amon looked around the office. It was empty, save for a few analysts. Where did everyone go? Amon directed to a random analyst, who looked up with a frantic expression on his face. Sir, they left while you two were in the middle of your discussion. They said that they couldn't wait any longer, at least lest any civilians get hurt. Oh. Mato scratched his head, looking at the television. We should probably hurry. Damn it! But even as Amon rushed out of the center, briefcase in hand and heart pounding, he couldn't get one thought out of his head. Why did it look like Kakashi was crying? It must have been a trick of the light, Amon decided, a glitch in the camera. Scene change. It was unusual for the crowd to be silent on a Tuesday morning. There should have been a dull roar of hundreds of citizens all talking at once, and yet everyone was silent. Kakashi's hands were planted in his pockets as he ambled down the street. There seemed to be a bubble around him as the crowd parted before him like Moses before the Red Sea. Some were brave enough to run away. Others were so scared they could only quiver and shake as Kakashi passed by. Kakashi, for his part, didn't pay them any heed. He had more important things to do. Mama, is that a ghoul? Shut the fuck up, kid. Don't let him near you. But why is he crying? And indeed he was. A tear trickled down his cheek. His eyes were filled with desolation and emptiness, like a 1,000-yard stare of a man that had seen too much death. A fairly accurate description, actually. He radiated sadness and agony. Kakashi wasn't ashamed to admit that he was crying. There was a very, very good reason for it. His Icha collection was gone. He had left it in his apartment in Konoha, because who takes porn into the Fourth Great Shinobi War? He regretted his decision so much. Kakashi should have just stored his collection in a storage seal like he normally did, but he didn't, so now he had to pay the price. He needed to find a replacement. He would probably never find one as good as Jiraiya-sama's masterpiece, but one close enough would do. His collection, his highly personalized, limited edition, autographed, ultra-rare collection, all gone. Kakashi held back a whimper. Scene change. Do we know the plan? Sir, yes, sir. Good. This won't be like yesterday. Let's get him. Many of us may die in the process, but even more will probably sustain injuries that may never heal. But it's for the sake of the public. We have to protect the civilians. We have to protect humanity. Sir, this operation calls for, a lot of bullets that cost a lot of money, and we don't have a guarantee that it'll even work. You saw how fast Kakashi was yesterday. We should probably just retreat for now, like we should really retreat. Kakashi isn't even doing anything bad yet. What's your name and rank? Gurin Nynamo, and I'm new, so I'm the lowest rank. Wrong. You are now hereby known as Bitch Boy, with the rank of Bitch Boy. Now kneel down. Shut up. No, hold a second. Sorry. Wrong. You are now hereby known as Bitch Boy, with the rank of Bitch Boy. Now kneel down. Shut the fuck up and get ready to shoot. Scene change. Kakashi's fingers twitched, and there was a hungry look in his eyes. The only tears left on his face were tears of happiness. Marvelous. He had walked into the bookstore expecting to find some mediocre literature. He found porn manga instead. Manga in the Elemental Nations was rare, even rarer than movies, but they existed. Kakashi had never liked them that much, because the plots were often disappointing and droll. But in this world, it appeared that manga was so successful there was a whole porn subsection. Kakashi giggled as he flipped a page. drinking in the scenes before his eyes. Marvelous. I'll take your entire stock, Kakashi called out to the clerk, eyes not moving off the page. There wasn't a response. Kakashi looked up, frowning. Oh, he had run off already. Kakashi had been so polite, too. Oh well, he'll just take it and leave the money on the counter. Pickpocketing rich assholes this morning had been harder than usual, because nobody went even 10 feet within him. But he'd still managed it. Kakashi giggled once more. You sly dog. He snapped the marvelous work of art shut, then sealed the entire series into a storage seal. He dropped the stack of bills on top of the countertop with a small tip as an apology, then strolled out. Yo! Kakashi I smiled at the man, pointing guns at him. 3 helicopters buzzed overhead. He counted at least 30 snipers on various rooftops, all of them undoubtedly aiming at various parts of his body, much more men than yesterday. Kakashi, are you stupid? Did you really think we'd let you walk around the city like you own it with no repercussions? Hey, it was the same investigator yesterday that had greeted him at the center. Time? The man blinked, sorry. What's the time? Kakashi repeated. Why does it matter to you? Kakashi looked down at his pant leg where the storage seal full of porn manga was located. Because I have important matters to attend to, so I can't waste too much time on you. Guys, don't worry. I'm sure I can spare a minute or two, but this can't drag out too long. Fire! Kill this motherfu— The rest of his words were drowned out by the sudden hail of gunfire. Kakashi sighed. How troublesome. Perhaps he should have put on a henge. And they're shooting at him again. Haven't they learned from yesterday? Bullets don't work. Or perhaps they just hoped that more bullets would be effective. Rather, a tremendous amount of bullets. Holy hell, it was literally as if there was a metal wall of death in front of him. Just as the first supersonic sniper bullet reached him, Kakashi blurred out of existence. He wasn't stupid enough to do the same thing as yesterday. The CCG seemed to have learned from their mistake. There was a squad of men guarding the snipers themselves. In fact, the men seemed to be shooting randomly into the air, presumably so if Kakashi suddenly appeared, he would be right in the path of the bullet. Kakashi nodded in satisfaction. The CCG wasn't completely incompetent. Finished with his inner analysis, Kakashi glanced around the interior of the helicopter. 2 men were shaking, pointing handguns at him. The pilot, thankfully, was still oblivious, so the helicopter wasn't in any danger of crashing. What's up? Kakashi greeted with a two-fingered peace sign. His hands shot forward, grabbing the gun and deftly disarming both men. Kakashi idly tossed the guns out of the open door. Can you please drop me off over there? Kakashi pointed off to the distance. At a small park. Tokyo was too metal for his taste. He wanted to see some trees again. Being away from the holy log for so long was taking its toll on Kakashi. The men looked at each other. They nodded and spoke in agreement, passing between each other. Kakashi regarded them cautiously. He didn't like the look in their eyes. It was the same look Kakashi often had whenever he was about to do something extremely stupid or likely suicidal. Then, without a moment's warning, both men charged at Kakashi, fully intent on tackling him out of the open helicopter door. Kakashi rolled his eyes, sidestepped around them, and knocked them both unconscious. The radio buzzed in one of the men's pockets. Kakashi smirked. He was getting a sense of deja vu here. Scene change. Cease fire! Cease fire! Everyone anxiously looked at the spot where Kakashi had been. There was a lot of smoke. When it cleared, like yesterday, it revealed that Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. In unison, everyone swiveled their gazes to the roofs. If Kakashi did the same thing as yesterday, then he would have been taken out by the ambush squads guarding the snipers. Sniper team 1, 2, 3, 4. Report in. Any visuals on Kakashi? No, sir. No. No, sir. No. No, sir. No. No, sir. No. Everyone frowned. Where was Kakashi? Holy shit, there's no way. Helicopter squads, report ASAP. Helicopter squad 1, all clear, no sign of Kakashi. Helicopter squad 2, all clear, no one's on my person. Helicopter squad 3, all clear. Wait, what the fuck did you just say? Hey, This is the pilot of Helicopter Squad 2. What the hell is going on back there? I can't see. I need a ride. Can you drop me off? Around 36 degrees to the right. Thanks. Seat change. Kaneki. Which do you think is better? A cheeseburger with caviar? Or... Hide was abruptly cut off when he caught sight of something in the distance. Say, Kaneki, what is that? Kaneki turned around just in time to see something dropping down in the air from a helicopter. Was that a person? Hide frowned. There's no way, right? It was probably a stunt for a movie, or a dummy that was dropped down. Kaneki nodded. That must be it. Cheeseburgers with caviar sounds ghastly. Hey, what should I do when I go on a date with Rize? Scene change. Kakashi landed lightly on his feet. The pilot had been nice enough to comply with his every demand. He had tried to crash the helicopter at first. How brave and honorable of him. But Kakashi just casually pointed the sharp end of a kunai at the pilot's comrades and told the pilot that if he tried to crash the helicopter, Kakashi would simply jump out first, rendering the pilot's brave sacrifice a useless failure. And that was that. He would play with the CCG later. For now, he had things to read. Scene change. Mato and Amon rushed onto the scene. Quinke is out and ready for the fight. Where is he? Mato growled. There were bashful looks being shared by everyone. Gone, sir. Why did you all rush off without us? Amon demanded. If you had waited for us, we could have gotten him. We had to do something, the man yelled. We had to act. The public was at risk. What if Kakashi suddenly went on a random killing spree? Sweaty says be hella annoying. Mato sighed. Fools everywhere. Kakashi wasn't going to harm anyone. He was preparing for us. We had plenty of time to plan it out. Do we know where he is now? He jumped out of a helicopter around that area, sir. Mato blinked. I'm sorry. I don't know how, but he somehow went from here, the man pointed at the spot riddled with bullet holes on the ground, to a helicopter in the sky. Mato paled considerably. Are you certain? I am. We don't know how he did it. He was faster than our sniper bullets. Mato turned to Amon. My apologies, Amon-kun. It appears I've made a mistake. Amon frowned. What's wrong? He's not in A rank, or even S rank. For the first time since Amon's met him, Mato seemed almost fearful. He's SS, perhaps even higher. Scene change. Kakashi lounged in the tree with a henge on. He didn't want any more disturbances today. He let out another giggle when Sojiro finally understood her intentions. Go get her. The sound of footsteps drew Kakashi's attention. Kakashi gave an internal sigh when he saw a group of CCG agents rush into the park. Excuse me, but did you see a white-haired man drop down from the sky? Kakashi blinked innocently, twirling around a strand of purple hair. I'm so sorry, officer, he spoke in a high, cutesy voice. I didn't see a thing. Miss, are you sure? You didn't see a man drop down from the sky? Kakashi pursed his lips. No. Why? What happened? The men looked at each other before shrugging helplessly. Nothing, miss. We need you to leave the area right now. It's not safe. There's a ghoul around. Kakashi gasped in surprise. Oh no! A ghoul? How terrible. Where is he, though? We don't know. That's why we need you to leave. But I just want to read, Kakashi whined. The men froze. Wait, are you holding a book? Kakashi froze as well. Ah, shit. He spoke in his regular voice. One chakra smoke jutsu and Shunshin later. Kakashi was gone. I'm sorry. Oh, dude, that shit was funny. No. In retrospect, he probably shouldn't have brought up that he was reading a book right after he had exited a bookstore. Not the best choice, he'll admit. Scene change. Oh, this is a great fanfic, I can tell. Scene change. He cross-dressed? What? He was a girl. He had put on a wig, applied makeup, and changed his voice. God damn. He was pretty cute, too. Not gonna lie. What? Oh, no. Oh, and he got away. Okay. Scene change. What do you think? What do you think about this, Kakashi? They've been talking about, the blue-haired waitress asked an old man while wiping down the counter. Her eyes were fixed on the television mounted on the wall, playing the news of the city. Yoshimura hummed and thought, he's an unknown, powerful one. We don't know what his purpose is yet. For now, stay vigilant and don't get killed. We don't know if he's friendly towards fellow ghouls, and the CCG isn't going to take this lying down, huh? Indeed, the CCG is enraged by Kakashi, and they're already sending a large amount of experienced investigators over to take down Kakashi. If we're not careful, the 20th Ward may no longer be a safe haven for ghouls instead become a murder ground. Toka growled that this shitty Kakashi, and I thought the binge eater was bad. Yoshimura chuckled. My dear, there are monsters out there that would make the binge eater look like a playful child. He turned around and began walking away. I just hope Kakashi isn't one of them. Oh, this is a great chapter. Yo, whoever wrote this is goated, I'm not gonna lie. I'll go ahead and read another chapter. Chapter 3, Destroyed. Kakashi sighed contentedly. When he finished the first 5 volumes, it had been a fantastic read with brilliant plot, character development, character interactions, and phenomenal art. Standing up from the top of the crane he was sitting on, he inhaled deeply. The air up here was cool and refreshing, less pollution. No body odor either. Some people just didn't know what deodorant was. He took a moment to appreciate the sunset. He had spent a good chunk of the day reading. Nobody seemed to have noticed him up here. Kakashi looked down. Everything looked like little dots from this height. Well, he had work to do, no time to waste. He released the check sticking him to the crane and then jumped off, free falling to the ground. The wind rushed through his hair, and adrenaline coursed through his system. His senses screamed out at him. His every nerve was lit aflame from exhilaration. Kakashi smiled underneath his mask. It was fun. Kakashi could rarely do stuff like this, because the last time he had jumped off the Hokage mountain, he had been disciplined by the Sandaime for setting a bad example. God damn it, Kakashi, I swear if I see setting a bad example. God damn it, Kakashi. I swear if I see a single genin do the same thing you did, then I will shove my part so far up your... As the ground neared, Kakashi performed a flawless Kowarimi, effortlessly switching out with a rock on a window ledge. He precariously balanced on the ledge, using the slightest bits of chakra to attach himself, and watched the rock smash to pieces below him. His body parallel to the ground, Kakashi walked down the side of the building, weaving a minor genjutsu around him. When he reached the ground, Kakashi dropped the genjutsu, absently applied a henge, and made his way back to the hotel room. Scene change. Special class investigator Yukinori Shinohara and his partner, rank 3 investigator Juzo, the psycho kid, Suzuyo walked into the CCG center of the 20th Ward. Chaos, absolute chaos. Analysts running around like chickens whose head were cut off. Talking into multiple phones at once. Rapid response teams were kneeling down, eyes pointed straight ahead and alight with determination. Waldron sergeants screamed into their faces. Kureo Mato, Shinohara's first partner and friend, sat on a chair staring at the cup of coffee in his hands. Aman Kuratoro was doing push-ups in the corner with his shirt off. Mato-san, what's going on? Shinohara politely inquired, setting down his metal briefcase and taking a seat across from Mato. Mato looked up, an unrecognizable look on his face. Good evening, Shinohara-san. You're here because of Kakashi, I take it. Shinohara nodded, slightly worried. Yes, HEQ sent me to coordinate with all 20th Center branch members to eliminate the ghoul codenamed Kakashi. I was the only free special class investigator they had on hand. Jesus Christ, man. Anyhow. I was the only one free. I was one of the only free special class investigators they had on hand, so they sent me and my partner, Suzuya-kun. Special class investigators were incredibly rare. You couldn't just be strong. You had to be smart, have leadership, and be able to adapt to the fly. Shinohara was one of the best CCG had to offer. Sending him here just showed how serious the CCG out was about taking out Kakashi. Mado sighed. Shinohara-san, the entire 20th CCG Center is in pandemonium because of what Kakashi did this morning. Shinohara nodded. I know, that's why they sent me. Mado shook his head. No, neither you nor the CCG truly knows. Kakashi somehow, some way, managed to travel from the ground to a helicopter still in the air, all while dodging supersonic Q bullets. Shinohara blinked. Wait, what? His speed may even exceed Arima-san's. Shinohara stared, slack-jawed at Mada's word. Faster than Arima-san? He shook his head, in denial. Such a thing was impossible. No, definitely not. He has a mastery over close-range combat. One look at the surveillance video when he attacked the CCG Center would tell you that. His speed and maneuverability is godlike. A battle against Kakashi would be immensely difficult. Shinohara leaned back in his chair. But not impossible. Am I correct, old friend? An eager, excited, wide smile spread across Mado's face. Of course. Off to the corner, Amon looked up. Hold up. Are you saying we're going to fight Kakashi? Mado chuckled. Oh, Amon-kun, don't you know my ambition, my one goal in life? Amon, friend, you never told me. I need to kill the owl. Mado grinned, a grin that most would expect to appear on an insane person. Compared to him, Kakashi is nothing. Shinohara stood up. Well then, shall we plan out our strategy, Mado drained the coffee and slammed down his cup, wiping his lips with the back of his hand. Absolutely. Shinohara smiled before he heard a familiar voice scream out, Maggot, you're fucking useless. Give me 200 push-ups right now. Shinohara groaned. Excuse me for a moment. Suzuya, get back here. You're an investigator, not a drill sergeant. Suzuya jogged over disappointedly. Aw, man, screaming at those men was fun. Why can't we do it? Shinohara sighed. Because it's not proper. Mado Amon. This is Suzuya Juzo, my partner. Nice to meet ya. Suzuya held up 2 fingers in greeting. Amon stretched out his hand. Nice to meet you too. The second striked on as Suzuya stared at the extended appendage. Suzuya, you're supposed to shake his hand, Shinohara explained patiently. Oh, I understand. I thought he wanted to fight, and you told me to never fight a comrade, so I was thinking about how to defeat him without you noticing. Just shake his damn hand. Scene change. This was aggravating, to say the least. Kakashi stared down at the Hiraishin seal. He had tried once when he was younger to recreate the original Hiraishin, but he had given up within the first 3 days. And now, decades later, Kakashi once again not only had to figure out how the Hiraishin worked, but also had to add an extra dimensional factor. Needless to say, it wasn't exactly going well. Scene change. Several hours later, Kakashi once again collapsed onto the hotel bed, sinking into the soft cushion. He had made absolutely no progress that afternoon. Even with his own unparalleled genius, Kakashi had been unable to figure out even the first layer. Unable to figure out even the first layer. This is going to take a long time. Months, perhaps. Even years. And until then, Kakashi would be stuck in this new world. More importantly, Kakashi wouldn't be with his friends and comrades and cute little students. He sighed, while he enjoyed a little time to himself. As much as he hated to admit it, he'd grown accustomed to being with people. Put simply, Kakashi wanted a friend, or at least somebody to talk to. Scene change. I, too, happen to be interested in you. And she embraced his trembling, eager form, bringing her head against his shoulder and bit down. Kaneki really swore, but he felt justified in his case. Bitch, what the fuck? Oh shit, ghoul. Scene change. Kakashi will be wandering around tomorrow, Mado announced grimly. Shinohara tilted his head. How'd you know? How do you know? It's in his nature. He's arrogant, and he wants to showcase his power. He'd already survived multiple CCG attempts on his life, so why not another one? That does make sense, in a twisted sort of way. Shinohara raised his hand to his chin, deep in thought. We just need to anticipate where he will be, then set a trap. The four of us should be able to take care of him. Suzuki raised his hand. I don't mean to be pessimistic here, but can the four of us even defeat him? Shinohara smiled patiently at Suzuki. Kakashi may be fast and strong, but against the four of us, it's definitely a winnable fight. Mado nodded. Do not underestimate our abilities, Suzuya. Shinohara and I are known as the CCG's best for a reason. I also have faith in Aman and you as well. Aman pounded his fist into his palm. Kakashi is going down, he declared resolutely. Yeah, but he didn't dodge but didn't he dodge sniper bullets that were traveling faster than the speed of sound? Suzuya asked innocently. Shinohara shook his head. Whenever somebody says the speed of sound, people tend to think of insanely fast and dodgeable things. But that isn't true. For example, a whip can travel faster than the speed of sound, but we can still dodge those. Kakashi was probably anticipating the sniper bullets and had begun dodging the second he saw the muzzles flash, and perhaps even before that. Kakashi most likely has an Ukaku Kagune. Mado pressed his fingers against each other. He'll tire quickly, and once he does, he'll slow down exponentially. There's a reason why Kakashi hasn't been fighting the CCG squads head-on. There's too many of us, Amon realized. If he had to take care of all of us individually, even if he doesn't get a single scratch while doing so, he'd still be too tired by the end. Mado smiled. Exactly, that's why he's been running away from us every single time. It's not that he's baiting us or anything, it's because it's a full-on battle. He'll lose. Whoa, you're really smart, Suzuya smiled up at Mado. But then why are your hands trembling? My hands used to tremble when I was afraid. Are you afraid, Mado-san? Suzuya, Shinohara admonished, but Mado stopped him with the raise of his hand. No worries, Shinohara. He's right. My hands are trembling. Mado leered at Suzuya, but it's not from fear. It's from excitement. Oh. Suzuya clapped his hands together, tilting his head to the side. And are your eyes also different sizes because of the excitement? Suzuya, Shinohara said again in exasperation. We've talked about the language filter before. We have? I tossed it out because it was getting annoying, Suzuya blinked. Shinohara let out a suffering sigh. There's something I don't understand. Amon crossed his arms. We'll win if we fight Kakashi head-on. But how do we do that? Kakashi will just run away every single time. He's too fast and agile. Isn't it obvious? Shinohara raised an eyebrow. We bait him. Mado finished. We lure him into a place where he cannot escape, and then finish him off. But how are we supposed to do that? Amon was cut off when Mado walked over and grabbed several laptops. Amon slowly shook his head in terror. In horror. No, anything but that. I'm afraid we have to do it, Amon-kun. I'm afraid we have to, Amon-kun. Mado grinned, grimly fired up a laptop. We can't trust the analysis to do their jobs. They can't even navigate the way out of a paper. They can't even navigate the way out of a paper bag, much less create an accurate psychological profile of Kakashi. To defeat the enemy, we must first gain an understanding of him, Shinohara explained. We need to be able to predict him. We have to map out his everything. He was at a restaurant. Well, I want to know what he ordered. What was in the things he ordered? Where were those things? Where those things came from, and the situations of the location, and the situations of the locations from whence the things came from. Mado narrowed his eyes. I want to know everything. But that requires research, hours upon hours of sitting in front of this computer, the computer. Amon didn't exactly whine, as one does not whine to their superiors, much less. Son of a. Yo, what? Anyhow, sorry. much less when the superior is Mato, but he certainly groaned in protest when Mato slid him a laptop. I'm a field investigator. I fight ghouls, not do research. Well, we're pulling an all-nighter, doing nothing but research, Mato said with a crazed grin. By tomorrow morning, we're going to know everything there is to know about Kakashi, and hopefully that will be enough information for us to lure him into a trap. Suzuya summed up all of Amon's feelings in one word. Fuck. Language. Language! Scene change. Hey, so, this young man is about to die, but I have a great idea. How about we take the girl's organs, stick them into him, and see what happens? Dr. Kano, that's in violation of at least 8 different legal laws in pretty much every ethical code I can think of. I'll give you a bonus. Here's the scalpel. Go wild. Scene change. Kakashi woke up. He stayed in bed, unmoving, for a few minutes, contemplating on what he was going to do today. He could read. There were several more volumes he hadn't finished yet. However, his stomach was starting to feel uncomfortable. Kakashi was hungry. What could he eat, though? He didn't want to go full cannibal just yet. Well, okay, technically it wasn't cannibalism, but Kakashi regarded himself as a human. Ghouls could not consume human food, or could they? Have ghouls tried every human food in existence yet? Or did they simply bite down on into an apple, tasted it, decided that it was disgusting, then swore off all human food? Kakashi doubted that there had been any comprehensive testing or research performed. Besides, ghouls not eating anything but human flesh. Kakashi was no medic nin, but even he could see that it was kinda implausible. There had to be something else ghouls could eat. Kakashi just had to find out what it was, which meant it was time to go to the fanciest restaurants he could find and eat just about everything, all in the name of science, of course. Scene change. This looks delicious, Kakashi smiled at the other occupants at the table. They ignored him, surprisingly, instead focusing on their phone calls. Kakashi thought that top-level executives of massive multinational corporations would have a little more self-preservation, but apparently to these men, profit was more important than the ghoul sitting right next to them. Look, I don't care if we're going to end up destroying an entire ecosystem by opening up that factory. I was promised 200 million if I manage to raise our stock, and I will get to 200 million, one man barked. Kakashi paused, and people thought ghouls were the monsters. At any rate, Kakashi dug into tempura shrimp. He spit it out immediately. Shrimp's off the list. Next, caviar. Nasty. Next, watermelon. Disgusting. Next, fish. Ghastly. And it went on. Kakashi couldn't consume a single dish. Nothing. Perhaps they were correct after all when they said ghouls could only eat human flesh. Kakashi sighed. Thank you, gentlemen, for providing me food. They didn't respond to Kakashi, but instead still focused on whatever urgent matters a businessman would have. Kakashi strolled out of the private room and stood still, observing the common area of the restaurant. It was empty. Kakashi was suddenly hit with a wave of deja vu. His fingers flexed in preparations. What would the CCG try this time? Hopefully not bullets. Bullets were loud, annoying, and they smelled frankly terrible. The front door opened. Kakashi's eyebrows rose as a hunched over white-haired man, a young black-haired, glaring man, a friendly-looking man with a receding hairline, and Kakazu's son came walking in, silver briefcases in hand. Yo! I think he meant Hedon's son, but whatever. Yo! Kakashi greeted from them with the two-finger peace sign. Were they finally taking the negotiation/peace talk route? The friendly-looking, receding hairline man smiled. Good morning, Kakashi. My name is Shinohara. This is Mato, Amon, and Suzuya. We are investigators. Kakashi nodded slowly. This is new. For once, you're not shooting first, asking questions after. I must say, it's a refreshing change of pace. Do you want something to eat? I hear this restaurant's tempura is spectacular. Mato giggled. I like you, Kakashi. You're not like the other ghouls. I would certainly hope not, Kakashi smiled. Although I am rather curious. Why the change in strategy? Because Mato's a bitch and Shinohara's a bitch for listening to the bitch. Suzuya crossed his arms and pouted. Shinohara groaned. What he means, he translated, is that he After extensive research and analysis on you, we do not think that you are particularly aggressive or insane like many other ghouls. Amon nodded. As much as it pains me to say it, you're... He visibly struggled to continue. Come on, Amon, you can do it, Mato encouraged. You're not that bad, Amon coughed immediately afterwards, as if he was trying to purge the words from his mouth. Kakashi blinked. Thank you. You have had numerous opportunities to kill CCG agents. Why weren't Mato's eyes the same size? It became disconcerting after a while. And you never did. Only non-lethal attacks on top of that. In every single encounter we've had, you have never initiated a fight. From that, as unlikely as it seems, we could draw the conclusion that you're actually a peaceful ghoul, Shinohara continued. Amon looked like he wanted to hurl. As a result, Mato reached out his hand. We are extending you an opportunity to join the CCG as a special ghoul, a ghoul that kills other ghouls. You did. After all, walk into our center the other day looking for a job, correct? Wow, a genuine job offer. I'm interested. I'm interested. Kakashi strolled forward, ignoring how they tensed up. Let's go. They looked at each other. Wait, you're going to accept? Just like that? Amon asked incredulously. Kakashi nodded. It's not like I have anything better to do besides protecting the public by exterminating threats. It's almost like my old job. Well, okay, old job. Old job. It had been a long time since he'd been on Boo. Although, at least this time, he could console himself by saying that the people he would kill weren't actually people. They were ghouls. They weren't human. Just like how Jinchuriki weren't human. The errant thought struck him like Obito's punch. Were all ghouls truly bad? They ate humans, but after the extensive testing Kakashi had just performed, humans were likely the only things they could eat. Whatever. It wasn't like he actually had to follow the CCG's orders. If ghouls were this world's equivalent to Jinchuriki, then Kakashi would switch sides immediately, and probably start a revolution or something. Scene change. Instead of walking, there was a car waiting for them, probably to keep the public from panicking. Even so, Kakashi didn't like the ride at all. Being trapped in a confined space with 4 people, 3 of which were emitting killing intent, was not fun. When they walked into the CCG center, agents and investigators were already lined up to greet Kakashi, although several performed double takes at seeing him actually show up. Welcome, Kakashi, they chorused. Kakashi tilted his head. Between you and me, he said to Amon, I'm pretty sure I just walked into a trap. Amon tensed up. You're wrong. Kakashi hummed. I hope I am. After all, I am trusting you, and I don't like it when I'm betrayed. He then glanced around the interior, which was why he missed Amon's frantic gesture to Mato. Mato simply grinned back. They stopped in front of the RC scanner. Go on, Kakashi. Shinohara smiled warmly. We'll wait here. Your interviewer is just up ahead. Kakashi was silent for a moment. This isn't the same scanner I passed through just 2 days ago. To all their credit, Mato, Shinohara, Amon, and Suzuya didn't react at all. What do you mean? Jesus, man. These ads are starting to piss me off. I apologize for that. What do you mean? Mato pointed with the crooked finger at the scanner. What's wrong with this? Amon nodded enthusiastically. We added a few bells and whistles, a maintenance check, but it's still the same scanner as before. Indeed, Shinohara spread his hands. We're under orders to not follow you through. Go ahead, Kakashi. Mini Hedon, I'll say. Mini Hedon didn't say anything, but he did make an attempt for a smile. Kakashi nearly stared at the agents and investigators behind the 4. Somehow, I don't believe you. Mato turned around and promptly face-bombed. You idiots. You idiots! The investigators had their silver briefcases out, and the agents were pointing their weapons of choice at Kakashi. Fierce expressions were on their faces as they prepared for battle. Kakashi laughed. The 4 flinched away from him. Oh, Mato, I understand your pain. You're not the only one who's had to deal with knuckle-headed comrades before. If only Naruto was here. Then he would probably de-escalate the situation, resolve the conflict, and make everybody friends. Kakashi wasn't Naruto, though. He didn't have amazing persuasive abilities. All he had was his combat abilities. That and his flair for dramatics. In any case, this RC scanner is probably designed to neutralize me, correct? Kakashi's guess was confirmed by several flinches in the agent/investigator audiences. Audience, god damn it, stop reacting. Haven't any of you played poker before? Mata screamed in anguish. Stone faces! And the rest of you are just the cleanup crew. Kakashi, I smiled. All just for little old me. Shinohara sighed. The gig, Mato-san, appears to be up. Does this mean we can destroy, pillage, rape, kill, loot, and burn Kakashi now? Suzuya asked capitally. Kakashi edged away from him. I'm sorry? Shinohara sighed. Suzuya, you're not a Mongol. When I introduced you to the History Channel, well, please, at least try to maintain a good public image. Is that a yes? Suzuya reached into the interior of his jacket. Shinohara tilted his head. It is. Awesome! And in a flash, Suzuya was in front of Kakashi, small knives in his hand, and an insane smile on his face. How the hell did you manage to pass the psychological test? Kakashi evaded every one of Suzuya's swipes. Does the CCG even have psyche tests? Or psych tests? I don't know. Suzuya attempted to kick Kakashi, but Kakashi grabbed his foot and swept out Suzuya's standing leg. Suzuya fell down, but somehow bounced back up to his feet and continued his vicious assault. Everyone, stand down. Leave it to us. Just cover the exits, Shinohara commanded in a loud, deep voice. Massive steel shutters slammed down, blocking the exits, trapping Kakashi inside. Kakashi was impressed. They constructed all of this in less than 24 hours. Not bad. Mato ran forward at Kakashi, a green sword like Quinque in his hand. Amon pulled out a... I'm tired. Anyhow. Amon pulled out a black-red cylindrical club, and Shinohara had a black-red meat cleaver knife thing. Kakashi dodged every one of Mato's attacks, stabs, slices, feints, and jabs. Wait, what the hell? The green sword split into 3 sections and tried to close around Kakashi like a Venus flytrap. It sliced down and into Kakashi. Blood came pouring out, and Kakashi let out a pained cry. He collapsed onto the ground, and then he burst into smoke. A log in his place. Where did that come from? Amon gasped. He despaired, for in this place of stone and earth there was no logs to be found. Reaching out with all his might, he begged for a log in this forsaken wasteland, and he was answered and saved by the log in a place where there were none. Book of the Log, Wanderer's Saga, verses 7 through 9. Kakashi spoke from the ceiling. He dropped down, landing without a sound. The holy log always answers the call. Kakashi's eyes widened as Shinohara suddenly stood in front of him. He was fast. Kakashi leaned backwards into a backhand spring, dodging the furious slice, and hand sticking to the floor with chakra. Unleashed a flurry of kicks. Shinohara blocked them with his gigantic blade. Small knives streaked towards Kakashi, who detached himself from the floor and jumped up, right into Amon, who raised his club and was ready to slam it down. Mato rushed him from the side, sword held in front, and a manic expression on his face. The 3 green tentacles waved around menacingly. Kakashi could see just how sharp it was. Suzuya dashed forwards, then threw 18 knives at Kakashi in quick succession, laughing while doing so. Shinohara jumped up with speeds that shouldn't have been possible with his size, and directed his meat cleaver downwards, ready to unleash a simultaneous attack with Amon to cleave Kakashi into 2. Checkmate. Still in the air, Kakashi took a millisecond to admire their teamwork. If they had chakra, they would undoubtedly be excellent shinobi. However, they didn't have chakra. The second Amon and Shinohara's Quinques were about to cleave/crush him, and Suzuya knives were about to hit him, and Mato's sword was about to rip into him. Kakashi blurred. His legs shot out into midair, split as he caught both Shinohara and Amon in the chest, knocking them back. Mato's sword shot forward, but Kakashi's right hand was already on Mato's chest in a powerful palm strike. Without missing a beat, Kakashi's left hand shot up and plucked all 18 knives out of the air, faint, after images being left behind. Then, treating the knives like kunai, he threw all 18 at once right back at Suzuya. Shinohara and Amon crashed into the ground. Mato dropped down, gasping, the wind knocked out of him. Suzuya glanced down at the sudden slits in his clothing, yet not a single drop of blood fell to the ground. He was completely unharmed. Kakashi I smiled. Nice try, but you'll have to do better. The group of investigators/agents roared out a battle cry behind him. Kakashi turned around, slightly amused as they all charged him. Quinkes, knives, and guns in hand. Why did the four attack first? Shouldn't they have sent the small fry to wear him down before they engaged? Because clearly those four were leagues above all of these. He hadn't done this in quite a long time, since he had been fighting against enemies who were extremely powerful, but against these civilians, he could do it. Kakashi reached into his pants pocket. The vanguard halted their charge before immediately, warily observing Kakashi, while ghouls typically only fought using hand-to-hand combat or their kagunes. Kakashi wasn't a normal ghoul. They didn't want to be surprised by a hand grenade or a flashbang. They slowly backed away as Kakashi pulled out a book, a manga. No, not just that. Judging from the front cover, and for a few, their personal experience, it was a porn manga, pure hentai, and Kakashi began to read. What are you doing? One brave agent called out, having lowered his gun in confusion. I'm reading, of course, Kakashi replied cheerfully, not even glancing up. They shared looks, but why? To find out what happens next. Kakashi giggled. It wasn't Mato's insane giggle. Rather, it was a giggle of a man who'd just seen something beautiful and appreciated it heavily. You see, Sojiro finally conquered his inner fears, and he's about to ravage Megami and Tsubaki at the same time. Mato finished. Jesus Christ. This is great. This is funny. Ravage, Megami, and Tsubaki at the same time. Mato finished. Damn, I loved that scene. Everyone turned to Mato in surprise. There was a sudden, deafening silence in the room. Kakashi spoke first. You've read this? He asked delightfully. You've read that? You've read that? Amon asked, appalled. Yeah. And for the first time since Kakashi's met him, Mato seemed to regard Kakashi with something akin to respect. You may be a ghoul, but you have good taste. Tell me, have you reached the part where all 5 girls... No, stop, Kakashi cried out. He coughed lightly. I just acquired these books yesterday, and I haven't finished it all yet. Oh, my bad, Mato apologized. I'll wait until you're done with the plot first. Pedophile, Suzuya said flatly. Suzuya, no, we don't throw around accusations like that. Jesus Christ, man. This is funny as hell. This is a good story. Shinohara aside. And really, Mato, you're aware that your public image is already dented, correct? This isn't going to help. Mato blinked. Are you sure about that? He gestured at the crowd of young male investigators and agents who were staring at him with reverence and admiration in their eyes. Shinohara looked incredulously at the scene before he let out another sigh. Point taken. You've read that? Amon repeated, somehow sounding even more horrified. It's good, Mato smiled. Surprisingly good. We appeared to have gotten off track, however. I believe that you were all about to attack Kakashi. Another battle cry went up, as Kakashi began to read it once again. Scene change. The new ghoul on the block, codenamed Kakashi, has attacked the CCG Center again today. Once again, he walked out without a scratch on him. Joining me here is a special investigator, Shinohara, an expert ghoul killer. Shinohara stared into the camera with a fixed smile. Yes, Kakashi will die. Thank you. The reporter coughed lightly. Would you like to expand on that? Shinohara thought about the scene that afternoon. Kakashi effortlessly destroyed everyone without even looking up from that damned book, fighting the 4 of them all at once, only using his legs. One hand held the book, and the other was in his pocket, and pulling a smoke bomb out of nowhere and smashing it against the ground. There had been the sound of chirping birds, and when the smoke cleared, there was a hole in the steel shutters, and Kakashi was gone. No, I would not. On a completely unrelated note, all surveillance video of the incident has been lost. My most sincere apologies. Scene change. Get Arima in here. Sir, he's on a long-term mission. I said, get Arima in here. Scene change. That didn't go so well, Amon commented to Mato. Mato sipped his cup of coffee. No, it did not. He was obviously toying with us. We all walked away practically unharmed with only minor bruises and scratches. So, plan A didn't work. Time for plan B? We have a plan B, correct? Of course we have a plan B, Shinohara said soothingly. We need to. New plan, Mato announced. In light of the new information, I think I know how to defeat Kakashi. Oh, how? Shinohara inquired. Kakashi will not be lured by us, probably ever again. We've betrayed him and lost his trust. Mato stared into his cup of coffee. However, we know that he likes women. It just so happens that I know someone. Shinohara's eyes widened. You don't mean her. Mato nodded. She can seduce him. It will work. He won't suspect a thing. Amon glanced between the two of them. Who? My daughter, Mato said. Akira, Mato. Well, that's the end of this chapter, and this part of What If Kakashi Was a Ghoul. I hope you enjoyed. And, well, I know I sure as hell did. I also apologize for the certain laughing parts of this video. I could not help myself. I found this story rather amusing. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.